Good morning. Welcome to this week's episode of Learning with Lori. I'm sure you've been hearing on various news reports about real estate prices dropping 30%. What I wanted to do this week was to give a little bit of information behind that particular stat and what it means to you. I'm going to preface this by saying, and it's something that I say on a majority of my videos, is that you do have to speak to a real estate professional to determine how value is impacted for your specific property in your specific neighborhood. Everything that I'm about to say is very generic and it's very general across the board. And that's the thing that you need to remember is when it's being reported that there's drops of 30%, that 30% encompasses properties that are selling for under 500,000 and for over 5 million. And there's a varying range of property styles and types in there. So it's all relative to your specific needs and circumstances. But I wanted to give you a little bit of information in what has exactly happened in the past year for real estate. So definitely for the majority of properties, particularly here in Durham region, we reached our peak in February 2022. That's when prices were at the highest. And then from that moment on, they kind of went down. Some areas they went down very slowly. Some areas they went down pretty quickly. So in Durham region as a whole, all property types in February 2022, the average price for a property was $1,229,000. That same average for January 2023, however, was $886,000. That was a drop of almost 28%. So that when you're hearing in the reports that there's going to be a drop, my feeling and thought is that it has already happened. Yes, there are certain properties and certain situations where there still may be a decline in value, but for the most part, I think we're finally reaching kind of a plateau in what that drop is going to be. So a couple of other examples. Ajax, February 2022, the average price for all housing types was $1,273,000. And in January 2023, the average price was $931,000. That was a drop of 27%. Clarington had a drop of 29% from February 2022 to January 2023. Oshawa had a drop of almost 30% from that same time period. Pickering had a drop of almost 27%. Scugog had a drop of surprisingly 36%, which is a really large number, but you need to take into consideration that there's really huge differences in types and styles of properties that have sold in that area. There's not a lot of turnover in that neighborhood, in that community. Whitby, same time frame, February 2022 to January 2023, the drop was 26%. And for Toronto, the city of Toronto, the drop was 20%. So really the purpose of this message is to just kind of give you a little bit of comfort, whether you're a buyer or a seller, that I think we're very close to the bottom of what it's going to be. And that does not mean that there's going to be great gains in the future. We might see slightly lower prices, slightly higher prices, but I feel fairly confident that we're going to kind of hover in this price point for the next few months. If you're looking for information you can use to make informed real estate decisions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My name is Lori Roberts, and I am a full-time real estate broker. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.